And we are now in that 30-second start zone. You can see the countdown in the left corner of your screen. And it's at about 20 when they generally will start to move. A little bit later than that. Boy, everybody taking it really passively here. So my thing is, I think everybody's going to try and time it to be on the boost right when they get there. Now they finally start to move. Everybody taking it really easy here. And again, way on the outside is Aoki Racing. Are they going to do something here with the move? Interesting how those positions work. And look at Coleman timing to perfection. Coleman leaps out into a massive lead right from the off.
That's an incredible start, and knowing their pace, knowing how quick they can be around this course, that is going to pay dividends for this semi-final if they can maintain that position. But crucially, Greg, they've got that clean water in front of them where now they can just keep going, building that gap. And
did you see what Coleman did heading into that first turn? He turned in early to protect, but then did not pivot and tighten it up. He went way wide, keeping that thing up on the foil and keeping that speed alive. Again, that point where the speed overcomes the extra distance. And Danny Close looked like he had a pretty good start, and then I don't know whether he hit a bit of wake or if he just hit one of those little eddies, but suddenly he just went into a massive porpoise and bounce, and that has allowed Saud Ahmed to solidify his hold on that second spot.
Just a little under 3.5 seconds gap between second and third place currently, so maybe you don't want to have that grow too much, because then you're going to lose any advantage of seeing what we saw with Lucas do for Team Westbrook and having a chance to be able to do the long lap and do an undertake later on, whereas now it's looking better for someone like Saud Ahmed and the Team Aoki Racebird to build a bit more of a gap, have that clean water in front, where seemingly Brady is creating a gap in front of them to have a bit more wiggle room for the long lap.
Well, just heard Saud Ahmed in the Aoki Racing Racebird needs to build a margin. They have a second long lap as a penalty, and the reason was out wrong lane, incorrect start procedure technically, but they should have been in lane 2 and they went way outside for lane 3. Maybe looking at what Lavaraga did, but you have to use the lane you're assigned.
So suddenly now, if you're Danny Close and Team Checo, you're thinking, if I can minimize this gap to the Racebirds in front, I can win this, because both the teams in front have to do 2 long laps. That's a significant time deficit, but let's have a look at what that happened. You can see this infringement here from Team Aoki.
Yeah, and you can see he's supposed to be in lane 2, which is the center lane. And so that was the issue here. The technical rule is start infringement, but that's what it was. And again, Coleman just timed this to perfection. Now the question is, if I were Danny Close, then I want to think about this. Do you do the long lap now? Because look at, well, he's actually, if he does this right, this is it. This really tough merge. Coleman has gone up front. Look at the merge in the background. Here comes Aoki Racing. Close did not do the long lap, and Aoki wasn't quite close enough to challenge in. And now Aoki is going to be in the wash here of Danny Close, but Saud cuts to the inside, gets a little bit of smoother water, and now looking for the boost here. Danny Close and Aoki both have to wait. They use the boost recently. You've got, once you use it, 40 seconds before you can use it again. And so they are at pretty even pace here. What Danny wants to do here is keep Saud Ahmed in that Aoki Racing boat in that dirty wake that he's generating, and Saud already hunting for smoother water.
For sure. And meanwhile, looking ahead, you've got a 24.5 second now gap between Sam Coleman in the Brady versus Danny Close in the Checo Perez. So if you're thinking Brady, taking that first long lap, knowing you've got another one to do, is there enough of a time gap to still come out in top position?
Well, based on what we've seen, around 10 seconds for the long lap, that would be 3 seconds. They should be clear, and they are taking their first long lap right now, is what we are seeing from Sam Coleman. And obviously the third sector now, we really won't count, but he had by far the second sector fastest of anybody. He's through the long lap, and you already saw him heading out. And here we go, Aoki going right for their second long lap right now, trying to get that done and out of the way. And here's Danny Close for Team Checo. And again, now he's going to have really clean water again. He needs to just absolutely get after it. But look at Coleman's margin after a long lap.
That was just short of 10 seconds lost in that time, and he even made that time back a little bit more after that. Now it's 17-second gap with Team Checo doing the lap as well. So yeah, now this is where we have to see, can that gap be maintained? He's already got it back to almost 21 seconds. Team Brady are driving for their lives, or more importantly, Greg, for a championship.
Yeah, well, to give you perspective here, Danny Close's last lap without a long lap was a 1:30 flat. Coleman's with a long lap was a 1:32.5. I mean, it's just extraordinary, the speed we are seeing right now. It is incredible out of Sam Coleman and Brady. And, I mean, he knew the mission he had to overcome here and is doing a stunning job. And he's into that second long lap now. And he's going to come out, and we will have one lap to go. But he's got such a lead, he's going to still be in absolutely pristine water. And it's timed this to perfection, because even the other two race birds are going to be through that turn 5, which is really tight to turn 2. He's not even going to have their weight by the time he gets to turn 2.
Team Checo and Team Aoki battling there in and out of the long lap has just given all of this free air for Sam Coleman and for Team Brady to just be able to just keep building on that gap and make that extra long lap almost redundant.
Yeah, I mean, not one little bit of undisturbed water through turn 2 here for Coleman to deal with. And he still has a massive lead here, as you said. So at this point, you know, he's clearly in a zone. And one of the things that they say with racers is when you decide to slow down and save, that's when you can start making mistakes. So what's he going to do? Is he going to push, or is he going to back off a little bit? He's got a big lead. Just all he has to do is get through half a lap now.
Yeah, it's been incredible work. It's exactly the performance we've seen from the team all weekend, and what we've seen across the season. Let's be honest, there's 3 race wins out of 4 this season. This is the dominant team, the team that deserves to be where they are at the top of the championship, and now looking in prime position to get through to the final and even maybe screw another win and potentially even wrap it all up.
Yeah, they've really just, they've been the standard setter, haven't they, from the very first race? No question about it here. And here we go. Last time for Sam Coleman to run through turn 6. And now let's just get it through turn 7 here. The nice wide arc. I like this approach. We talked about it yesterday. Open that arc up a little bit and just ease the speed through. And now head right toward that start buoy. Shortest line, boom! He gets through, and it's going to be, I think, a little bit of a margin of victory that won't be quite so true, because I think he did take it a little bit easy here. Here comes Saud Ahmed coming to the line, and let's see what the eventual margin is. 17 seconds, and it was up to well over 20. So Coleman did ease out of it on that last lap just a little bit. And here comes Danny Close, who just could not maintain in that battle with Aoki.
If you're Team Checo now, you've got to ask yourself some questions, because you had a better result on the silver platter. You know, you had 2 teams in front of you, both with a penalty, additional long lap to use, and you've still managed to come out behind both of them. That's not at all the result they would have wanted. Very it's difficult, bitter pill to swallow that one. But there is another chance, of course, again in the next half of the semi-finals, where the other co-pilot of these pilots currently in the race birds will be getting in the cockpit and having a go at the second of the semi-final groups.